Magandang gabi, magandang hapon, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Sa mga andito na, sa mga manonood ng replay, rebroadcast, hello po. Welcome to another episode of Daily Hours where we read, reflect, and respond to the Word of God daily. And currently, we are on our series, the book of Second Samuel. Ayan. Ang ganda ng story. Actually, lahat, lahat naman ng story na binabasa natin sa Bible, I believe. Ang ganda kasi maraming lessons na natutunan tayo and we are continually reminded of our faith as well as Christians. Even though we are currently in the Old Testament, ang daming reflections, realizations. It shows the nature of God, nature of people, and many more things. Yeah. And may mga lessons pa rin tayong natututunan na pwede nating isabuhay bilang Kristiyano sa panahong ito. Kaya naman, welcome! And we are happy that you could join us again sa episode na ito. And again, we are doing this daily except on Sunday. Yes, Jesus said that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God. That's why these are daily bread. Yes, we continually feed ourselves with the Word. Okay, kaya I hope na ready na. Ready na po kayong gabing ito. And for tonight, I am joined by none other than Johnny. Kumustahin ko muna siya. And of course, sa mga andito na, I hope you are doing well. You can also comment kung anong gusto nyo i-comment dyan. Johnny, are you there? Hello? Bro? Are you there? Are you there?
Yo,
Kumusta, bro?
wait lang. Okay naman. Hindi ko lang parang feel ko kagigising ko eh. Pero may pinapanood kasi ako kanina. And I'm glad once again na nandito po ulit tayo to have our spiritual bread, no? Kasi kailangan po rin talaga natin yan. Kasi related din siya sa message kahapon na we are to be living dead if we do not have spiritual life. And we need the spiritual food to live as well. Yun, bro.
Alright, yes, indeed. Yeah, ikaw pala yung, last Sunday, yesterday, you talked about that during the sermon. Yes, indeed. Kailangan natin ng life, and one way to get that is through the living word, na nagbibigay buhay din sa atin bilang mga Kristiyano. Okay, so thank you for sharing, Johnny. And of course, basahin ko yung mga mensahe ng mga ka-awesome natin na andito. Siyempre, mauna tayo sa gabi ito. Awesome evening ulit mga ka-awesome. And from Ate Cot, Monday greetings from Noel and Cot. Hello po, thank you again for joining us and tuning in. Hello, Ate Ken, good evening. Good evening po sa inyo. And of course, solid power couple, Ate Mian and Ate Kuya Kaloy, dito rin sila. Yes, like Ate Cot and Kuya Noel. We have two power couples tonight. Thank you po for joining us. At sa mga andyan pa na nakikinig na ayaw mag-comment, sige lang, okay lang naman. Basta samahan niyo kaming makinig mga ka-awesome. And of course, kung may gusto kayong comment, okay lang din. And ano pa ba? Yeah, GC, may GC rin tayo na pwede niyong salihan kung gusto niyong mag-comment doon. Pero wala nagko-comment doon eh. Ako lang nag-share lagi doon eh. Alright, so for tonight, we will continue our series on the book of 2 Samuel. At bago po let's have just a quick recap of our reading last Saturday. So ito po ang ating binasa ng Sabado, 2 Samuel chapter 18 verses 1 to 17, and this was all about Absalom's defeat and death. So sasabihin ko sana finally, pero yes, during this time, the team of Absalom was defeated. Again, sino yung Absalom? Isa siya sa anak ni David. He revolted. He had a conspiracy trying to get the kingdom for himself. Okay, he was gaining power. He used his charisma to do that. Okay, but eventually this was not the plan of God. Kasi dapat talaga the rightful king was none other than King David. Kaya humantong dito sa kanyang defeat. Although yung death dapat, this was not intended by King David. The command was to be gentle with Absalom. But his commander Joab probably was thinking na, let's get this over with, no? He took the matters in his own hands. Kaya he directly disobeyed the king and he killed Absalom. Ang brutal pa ng pagkapatay, 3 spear, no? Sinaksak, and then hindi pa siya na-satisfy doon. His 10 armor bearers struck Absalom and then he died dun sa forest. Ayan po mga kapatid ang ating episode last Saturday. You can check it out as well and see for yourself, listen for yourself kung ano yung mga iba pang napag-usapan regarding this episode, last episode. For tonight, we will continue this at ang ating pag-usapan ito na when David hears of Absalom's death, ano kaya ang kanyang maging response? Ano kaya yung sasabihin niya nung nabalitaan niya about the death of Absalom? So for tonight, comment na rin po kayo ng awesome para simulan na natin ang ating pagbasa at pag-aaral at pag-response sa ating text for tonight. And I'll be asking Johnny, of course, to read for us the text. Yan. Good evening, bro. And awesome. Nag-awesome na rin siya. Pinangunahan na tayo ni O'Neil for the comment. And sundan nyo na rin po. Comment lang kayo ng awesome. Solid Gonzalez says, thank you po. Okay. I think they're ready. I hope you're ready. Brother Johnny. And yeah, basahin na natin. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, I hope you read along with me or not. So let's start 2 Samuel 18 verse 18 to 33. When he was alive, Absalom had taken a pillar and raised it up for himself in the king's valley, since he thought, I have no son to preserve the memory of my name. So he named the pillar after himself. It is still called Absalom's monument today. Ahimaaz, son of Zadok, said, please let me run and tell the king the good news that the Lord has vindicated him by freeing him from his enemies. Joab replied to him, you are not the man to take good news today. You may do it another day, but today you aren't taking good news, because the king's son is dead. Joab then said to a Cushite, go tell the king what you have seen. The Cushite bowed. Joab and took off running. However, Ahimaaz, son of Zadok, persisted and said to Joab, no matter what, please let me also run behind the Cushite. Joab replied, my son, why do you want to run since you won't get a reward? No matter what, I want to run. Then run, Joab said to him. So Ahimaaz ran by way of the plain and outran the Cushite. David was sitting between the city gates when the watchman went up to the roof of the city gate and over to the wall. The watchman looked out and saw a man running alone. He called out and told the king. The king said, he's alone, he bears good news. As the first runner came closer, the watchman saw another man running. He called out to the gatekeeper, look, another man is running alone. This one is also bringing good news, said the king. And the watchman said, the way the first man runs looks to me like the way of Ahimaaz, son of Zadok, runs. He's a good man. He comes with good news, the king commented. Ahimaaz called out to the king, all is well. He paid homage to the king with his face to the ground. He continued, blessed be the Lord your God. He delivered up the man who rebelled against my lord the king. The king asked, is the young man Absalom all right? Ahimaaz replied, when Joab sent the king's servant and your servant, I saw a big disturbance, but I don't know what it was. The king said, move aside and stand here. So he stood to the one side. Just then the Cushite came and said, may my lord the king hear the good news. The Lord has vindicated you today by freeing you from all who rise against you. The king asked the Cushite, is the young man Absalom all right? The Cushite replied, I wish that the enemies of my lord the king along with all who rise up against you with evil intent, would become like that young man. The king was deeply moved and went up to the chamber above the city gate and wept. As he walked, he cried, "My son Absalom, my son, my son Absalom, if only I had died instead of you, Absalom, my son, my son." There you go. God bless the reading, mga kapatid.
Okay, thank you, Brother Johnny, for the reading, and awesome evening to Arnel as well. Thank you for joining us again and again. Okay, so ito po ang ating text na medyo kakaiba for me personally, in a way na parang ba't pa in-extend this way? Nagkaroon ng racing between these two person, Ahimaaz and the Cushite. At yung racing is to tell the good news daw, good news regarding the death and defeat of Absalom. Ayun na, no? Karoon sila ng racing and then they reported it to David and David responded. Basically, yun yung nangyari, no? Pero ano kayang lessons dito? May lesson ba kayong nakikita or realize siguro dito sa ating reading? So, kung meron, lagay nyo lang dyan at kung may question din, you can ask as well. Let's have a discussion regarding our reading. Okay? Tapos meron lang dito sa first part regarding the monument and all. Alright, so pasa ko na ulit kay Johnny for his initial insights. And again, mga kapatid, kung meron kayo, I encourage you to comment as well kung ano ang napansin niyo sa ating reading tonight. Johnny, go ahead.
Okay. So, makita natin dito sa verse 18, no, that Absalom made the pillar for himself. Siguro medyo siya, na insecure or in a way na knowing that his father is David. In his prime times, he was known to have slayed Goliath. He have won many battles, and here comes another king na parang not having so much accomplishment compared to the previous king. So he made memorial, parang monument to siguro comfort himself, kasi sabi niya dito, I have no son to preserve the memory of my name. Pero actually, going back to the 2 Samuel 14 verse 27, I think, nagkaroon siya ng anak, actually, dalawang son and a daughter. And actually, pinangalanan niya pa yung anak niyang Tamar, di ba? But according to what I have read dun sa commentary, maybe itong mga anak niya would have died before he did. Kaya siguro ayan, na naisipan niyang gumawa ng sarili niyang monument, and name it after himself. And makita rin natin ito, it is also still called Absalom's monument today. So ayun po, no, he wants to leave a mark, a legacy, to siguro yun be also remembered like his father, David. And moving on dun sa
comment lang ako din dun sa monument. Siguro ito yung part na ako, trying to leave a legacy. So, pag may monument, papaisip lang ako, no? Di ba parang ngayon may mga monument ang mga popular figures, di ba? So, napaisip lang ako dito. Meron pa kaya ito during the time of the... Ewan natin kung meron pa ito yung mami-mention, pero ba't kaya nakalagay ito dun? Pero I think I agree with what you mentioned. Making a name for himself. Pero sa atin, hindi na, as Christians, hindi na natin kailangan ng monument sa sarili natin. Better legacy we could leave is to introduce others to Jesus. Yun lang gusto kong sabihin dito sa part. That's the way I see this na. Yes, people to leave a name for themselves. Pero parang patay ka na eh. Parang, siguro, the people still have a memory of you, pero ano kayo maalala nila kay Absalom? Good or bad? Napaisip lang ako dun sa part. Yeah, continue, bro.
And yes, siguro para to add more context, it's better to leave a legacy na people would remember no, tatatak sa kanila on siguro more of action, no? Whenever they hear your name or whatsoever, they would remember you in a good way, what you have done to them in a positive way, on how, just like Jesus, no, his great love, rather than seeing your statue there, unti-unting nagka-crack, unti-unting nawawalan ng, alam mo yon, nadideform, di ba, mas ano yun, it's better to have ayun, that kind of legacy than picture or statue.
Last bro, since nasabi mo yung part na yun, well, tama ano. Kunwari, nagpatayo ka ng monument, so what would people remember when they see that? No? So parang naisip ko, kay Absalom ba? Parang pangit eh. Di ba pag alam natin yung ginawa niya, this revolted against David, di ba? He wanted to steal the kingdom from David. Nisip ko ano bang okay magandang ginawa niya? Yun, he took revenge. So parang, on top of my head, wala eh. Wala akong maisip na parang magandang ginawa ni Absalom. So, this was really selfish of him or yun talaga parang pride. So, yeah. Iba-iba yung ugali niya, no? Parang from the one pa lang, wanting to steal the kingdom from his father. He had this narcissistic attitude. Yung tuloy naisip ko lang, yung narcissistic, yung talagang gwapong-gwapo siya sa sarili niya. Kasi gwapo nga talaga siya, no? So, gwapong-gwapo sa sarili niya. Gusto niya magpatay ng monument. Talagang, wow, sige. He's so full of himself. So, sorry, Absalom. Yun. Yeah. Awesome evening po, Kuya Aki. Awesome evening to you. Balik ko na ulit sa'yo, Johnny.
Yes. So, moving on, no, sa character naman, another character appearing, Ahimaaz, son of Zadok. No, makita natin dito na excited siya. Pero, hindi niya alam na, hindi niya kasi bear yung good news. Parang out of, biglang nalaman niya yung result of them having, being victorious of the battle, yet not knowing all what have been done dun sa event na yon, is na-excite siya to the point na he asked Joab to say na, please let me run, tell the king good news that the Lord has vindicated him, freeing him from his enemies. Tapos ito naman si Joab, nung una syempre sabi niya, hindi, ayoko na, ayun, you are not to bear the good news today. So I would be asking another man, because ayun, sabi niya doon, you are taking good news because the king's son is dead. Pero nasabi yun ni Joab kay Ahimaaz. Pero later on, nung i-deliver niya yung message, hindi niya actually nasabi yun, no? Because David was asking. But then, ayun, may inuto siya pa siyang isa, si Joab, the Cushite. And tapos parang, parang dinoktor, no? Na do not say this directly. Parang ito yung sabihin mo, go tell the king what you have seen. Tapos nagbow yung Cushite, yung Joab, and took off running. Ayun. He said something na parang wag mong i-headline yung nangyari kay Absalom. So, however, ayun, moving on, makita natin dito na persistent pa rin si Ahimaaz, no? Na no matter what, please let me run also behind the Cushite. Sinabi ni Absalom, my son, what do you want? Why do you want to run since you won't get a reward? Pero no matter what, I want to run. And then run. Joab allowed him to run. And ayun, Ahimaaz did his thing, no? Kasi hindi nga siya mapigilan because he maybe parang gusto niya, want to deliver good news talaga sa Panginoon. Minsan ganun din tayo mga kapatid, no, na there are times na because of our excitement, na-overwhelm tayo ng feelings natin and gusto natin talaga i-express ito and Minsan pa nga, even though people would tell us things na, uy, wag bro, wag ganto, ganyan, mapilit pa rin tayo. Pero we could see here naman na the heart of Ahimaaz, no, na hindi siya, wala naman siyang intention na iba. He just want to express his feelings na ayun, victorious tayo sa laban and we don't need to hide anymore, because dun sa previous discussions, 'di ba, na they need to hide, they need to go down the well, 'di ba? Ang dami nilang parang tatago nila yung tracks nila and all. So ganun. He's very excited in a sense. And that is for my initial insight, ano po mga kapatid.
Yan, yes, thank you for the insights, Brother Johnny. Yes, just a recall, sino si Ahimaaz, isa siya sa informant regarding, if you remember Hushai, right? Hushai, one of the advisors na nag-spy kay Absalom. So the message, the information was delivered through Ahimaaz and Jonathan in our previous episodes na na-mention nga ni Johnny kanina lang. Ayan po. Tapos, tignan lang natin yung conversation nila. Ayan. 19, balikan lang natin ng mabilis. So, yun nga, gusto ni Ahimaaz na siya yung magsabi ng good news daw. Pero si Job, ayaw niyang sabihin, parang alam niya na hindi yung good news for David. So, I don't know, he might want to spare Ahimaaz the burden of telling the news. Okay, kaya sinabi niya lang sa Hushai. Tapos, go tell the king what you have seen. So, hindi directly din, no, sabi nga ni Johnny kanina. So, in a way, trying to cover up yung part na death. Pero makikita natin mamaya, eventually, malalaman din naman ni King David ultimately kung anong naging fate ni Absalom. Go tell the king what you have seen. Hindi niya sinabi na ni Joab or hindi sinabi ni Joab, I killed Absalom. Kasi obviously, di ba? Bad shot si Joab dito. Very direct. So sinabi na lang niya na kung ano yung nakita ni Hushai, which is probably talo na or patay na si Absalom. Ayun. And then yung persistence ni Ahimaaz, napaisip lang ako, ba't kaya napaka-persistent at gusto niyang sabihin, why do you want to run since you won't get everyone? Pero parang realization lang or reflection dito sa part nito. Ang ganda na i-connect ko yung part na good news, wanting to tell a good news to someone. And you're going to do it no matter what. Interesting character or personality. Yun lang. So siguro, ganun din yung persistence natin. Kung may good news talaga, yung talagang good news. So, yeah. May we have this kind of persistence that Ahimaaz had, wanting to tell bearer of good news. Kasi maganda magsabi ng good news in a way, di ba? Yeah. It brings joy to people who will hear that. So, luluwang yung loob nila, di ba? Di ba? So, yeah, I think that's what Ahimaaz also wanted, perhaps. Yeah. Okay, so no matter what, I want to run, kahit walang reward din, di ba? Okay, so, bago yan, basahin ko yung comment ni Ate Kot. May comment pala siya dito, sabi niya po dito, despite Absalom's evil plots against his father's kingship, David was still very concerned about his son's safety. It was evident he still loved Absalom deeply. So verse 33, yes, just like God, even when we commit mistakes, God still loves us unconditionally. And that's what we saw dun sa last part nitong reading natin. Na-advance na pala. Pero thank you po, Ate Kot, for this. Makikita natin ito later on talaga on how David responded. Sabi naman ni bro, thank you, Ate Kot. Ni O'Neil, sabi niya naman dito, alam ba ni Ahimaaz na di dapat papatayin si Absalom? If so, he must be glad out of innocence. Oo nga, no? Alam ba ni Ahimaaz? Alam niya. He was commanded dun sa previous chapter. Double check ko lang ng mabilis. Sa chapter 17, yung command ni David. Okay. Saan na yun? Ay, sa ko lang pala same same episode, same chapter din pala. Sa chapter 18, verses earlier verses. Ano yun? The king commanded Joab, Abishai, and Ittai. And all the people heard the king's orders to all the commanders about Absalom. Kasama kaya siya doon sa all people?
Siguro majority. Kasi yung isang nakakita kay yung informant na nakita niya si Absalom hanging on the tree. Hindi niya ginalaw si Absalom kasi he heard the command. So most probably Abishai knows, and he was trusting that Joab might have spared really Absalom. So gusto niya na ngayon natapos yung gusot, he wants to run, not knowing that Joab killed Absalom, I think.
And I think he must be
Innocent.
glad. Yeah, innocent in a way. Pero alam niyang patay si Absalom. Kaya mamaya, dun siguro sa share mo na, may hesitance. Yes, he was the first one to reach, pero alam mo yun, parang hindi niya pa rin pala nasabi. So siguro na-realize na, ay, di ba dapat po? Hindi pala yung good news, parang ganun. Hindi pala good news ito kay King David, parang yung makita ko dun sa part na yun. So, thank you for this, Brother O'Neil. Kaya ituloy na natin para makita natin yung talagang full story. Ayan, punta tayo dun sa verse. Go, bro.
22. Makita rin natin dito na iba talaga yung ni Joab. Maybe he's an effective commander general or anything, pero makita natin that he disobeyed. He might be correct to kill the usurper in his sense, but he's not right because he disobeyed yung order of David. And he was trying to find ways to maging play safe with David na sa messenger pa lang, 'di ba, na wag mong i-headline to kasi bad news to kay David. Yung mention mo lang that the rebels were dealt with, but pag parang wag mong sasabihin directly yung about kay Absalom, and makita natin na he's more of serving the world, I think. What is better for the kingdom and all, hindi siya for spiritual or for godly. Kasi makita natin, 'di ba, na sinabihan na siya pero he has his own logical thinking on how he see things. And going back to verse 24, makita natin dito na si David was actually waiting for the good news or news of what happened. And doon pa siya sa may city gate, na-inform na lang siya ng watchman if there would be people coming over to inform. So ayun na nga, dumating si Ahimaaz, and the watchman told David na may isang tao running alone. So he called out to the king. Tapos ito naman si David, he was hoping na nasabi niya na if he's alone, he bears good news. Tapos as the first runner come closer, watchman saw another man running, called out to the gatekeeper, look, another man is running alone. This also bring good news. Pero kung i-interpret natin yan sa ibang way, I think that is parang doubtful, because why would there be two messengers? It's either the one, yes, really bears good news, and the other one would also bear another news, di ba? Pero makita natin dito the character of David being hopeful because he knows na God is with him. So So he was expecting really for good news. Then, sabi pa nung matchman na the first one looks like parang yung pagtakbo niya, yung galaw niya is like Ahimaaz, son of Zadok runs. So, hindi ko alam, he got his hopes up maybe I think when, ayun, nasabi niya. That's why nasabi niya pala yung this is a good man, he comes with good news. May comment ulit siya doon. So, nung they met, ayun, Ahimaaz told King David,
Comment lang ako saglit bro dun sa
okay bro,
dun sa kon lang. Yung part na yun, yung nagre-racing sila. Napaisip kasi ako dito kasi sabi ni David, the king said, if he's alone, he bears good news. Tapos nung may dumating na isa, this one is also bringing good news. So, ano,
okay.
anong point kaya ni David? Parang, may hint kaya siya? Oo, comfort. Parang comfort yung... So, napaisip lang ako, if he's alone, he bears good news. The one is also bringing good news. Tapos, nung kakilala niya pa si Ahimaaz, no? Most likely may connection, familiarity. Kasi nga si Ahimaaz yung nag-report, di ba? Nag-inform sa kanya yung news ni Absalom. Oh, this is a good man. He comes with good news. So, pampalubag loob siguro talaga. No? Yun lang yung nakita ko sa initial responses ni David. Go ahead, bro.
So, ayun. Sabi mo na nga rin ko yan. Tapos, nag-meet na sila. He was expecting really something. So, ayun. All is well. He paid his homage and continue. Hindi siya direct, no? Blessed be the Lord your God. He delivered up men who rebelled against you, my Lord, the King. Tapos, alam mo yun, yung unang, hindi naman pinanguna ni David, pero yung next na respond niya kagad is the young man, Absalom, all right. Makita natin nun na yun talaga yung inisip niya, yung welfare ng kanyang son. And ayun, yun na, dito na natin masabi na hindi talaga dapat si Ahimaaz sana yung pupunta talaga kasi he doesn't bear all the king needs. Sabi niya dito, Ahimaaz replied, when Joab sent king's servant and your servant, I saw a big disturbance, but I don't know what it was. Diba? So, syempre, David was expecting something really from his son about his safety or ayun and all. So, nag-proceed kaagad siya sa next na messenger and move aside and stand here. So, he was somehow disappointed na ganun yung bear nung kanyang kakilala pa. So, he stood aside and Cushite delivered once again. Ayun. Yung sinabi niya, may the Lord, the King, hear the good news. The Lord has vindicated you today by freeing you from all who rise against you. So, good news nga ba yung dala niya? Kasi, kaya ito, sinend ni Joab kasi, di ba nasabi niya doon, you saw everything that has happened. Pero, I think may isa pang sinabi talaga si Joab regarding that na don't be direct. Kapag tatanungin ka lang, di ba? Then the king asked the Cushite, is the young man Absalom all right? Then the Cushite replied, I wish the enemies of my lord king along with all who rise up against you with evil intent would be like that young man. And yun na, siyempre, yun yung hindi dala ni Ahimaaz, and with that, we all know what would happen. The king was deeply moved and wept, went up, chamber above the city gate and wept. As he walked, he cried, my son, Absalom, only I had died instead of you, Absalom, my son. So with this, alam mo yun, we could see that I do agree with Atikot comment earlier regarding, could see how David values his son like God, valuing as our children. And maalala ko lang din dito yung story of prodigal son, di ba? That no matter what the kid had done, he took all yung kingdom ni David, turned it up against him, he still loves his son no matter what. Pero may nakita lang ako na I find it disturbing or somehow mali. Because with all that has happened, yes, it is not indeed bad for us to love our son or family members in such a way. Kasi makita natin talaga they have bond and all. Yun siguro yung weakness niya talaga, family. And Joab doesn't see that good, so he took out Absalom. Pero with all that has happened, makita natin na during the rebellion, a lot of people died. Na gano'n na lang ba? With the scheme of one man leading a group of people into rebellion and going into battle, was yung tatanungin ng king is yung pinako niyang concern is his son, not knowing that Israel have suffered, his own side have suffered. Mga kapatid, ganun lang ba? Parang alam mo yun, life is lumilipad sa kanila just because of one man leading a rebellion against another. And if it still applies right now, who would be the people? Paano ma-encourage yung tao na they would protect their country and all about being a soldier? Kasi, di ba, we don't know their side as well. Pero, yun nga, it is their duty to die in battle. That would be their honor. Hindi po ba? Pero, knowing that people have died, ayun, parang I see it as not so good kasi they did their part as well as loyal. They gave their own life with following Absalom, and they are in ang tawag doon? They are in the wrong. Ayun, gusto mong mamamatay ka na nga, dapat you do it in the right way, not in the very bad way. And yun siguro we could reflect on, mga kapatid, kasi nabasa ko rin dun sa commentary na with the foolishness of one person, but ayun, would you give your life? Kasi yung followers niya, di ba, na nasabi dun na they just go with the flow, just because he was charismatic, he was anong tawag dun? They were convinced, not knowing talaga kung ano yung pinaglalaban nila. So, would we be like that? Na we are used just for something else. And yun siguro yung makikita ko for this text until the end. But you could see talaga David loving his son more than his people, other mga namatay. And makita natin, sabi niya doon, deeply moved, which means talagang, alam mo yun, nagsishake yung katawan niya and all, to the point na he would be kneeling down, mawawalan ka ng lakas, parang binawian ng
buhay.
Yes, ganun. Bigla ka na lang madadapa on knowing that the news of your son died in battle. Parang who is to blame? Kasi in order niya naman na they would take the life of Absalom they would take him
gently.
Gently. Hindi siya magagalaw, pero no hindi nasunod. And yun lang for my insight.
Yes, thank you, Brother Johnny, for that. Tama yung nasabi mo rin ko, I agree with your bother, kung saan ka na bother na part. In a way, yes. And related siya sa comment ni O'Neil na part. Pero bago yun, yung comment lang ni O'Neil dito, basahin ko yung part na dalawang klase ng balita. Out of innocence and out of deceit yung isa. Pero hindi ko alam kung deceit yun eh. Ay, hindi. I think hindi naman siya deceit, di ba? Directly. Or yung isa, sa akin, yung isa, hesitance. Hindi clear yung message. Tapos yung isa, direct na sinabi pa rin naman, in a way. Yeah. May dalawang klase, pero I'm not sure kung innocente or deceit yung both. Ang tingin ko naman, yung isa, hesitance, or hindi clear, tapos yung isa, directly na sinabi yung message. So, dun sa messenger natin, better messenger yung Cushite. Kasi sinabi niya yung balita na talagang nangyari. Si Ahimaaz, kahit siya yung nauna, yung nag-alangan siya. I don't know, yung nakita ko dito sa part na to. So, yeah. Principle dito, we must be discerning which is which. In a way, yes. Yes, sa mga balitang nakukuha natin. Babalikan lang natin yung part na yun. Para mas klaro. Ayun, yun yung nakita ko eh, di ba? Nauna si Ahimaaz. Tapos, yeah. Blessed be the Lord your God. He delivered up the men who rebelled against the Lord my King. Ito yung sinabi niya. So, unclear eh. Parang vague, di ba? Vague yung message. He delivered up the men who rebelled against my Lord and King. Tapos nung tinanong na directly, nagtaka siguro si Ahimaaz or he must not be expecting this question from David. Na si Absalom lang yung tinanong talaga, no? So nag-alangan siya, no? When the Job said the king's servant and your servant, I saw a big disturbance, but I don't know what it was, no? Di ba? So, he was not a good messenger, I see here, na si Ahimaaz. Napaisip lang tuloy ako, ba't pa gusto niyang mauna? So, parang tuloy. Selfish motive ba? Gusto niya maging, kaya ako nag-deliver ng good news. Kaya naman si Cushite yung nagbigay ng mas direct answer. Yes. Okay. Is the young man all right? So ito, without specifically mentioning it, yan na. From the sound of it, alam mo nang anong tawag dun, patay na si Absalom. Pero parang good messenger ito in a way na alam mo yun, sinabi niya pa rin na patay si Absalom in a, anong tawag dun, in a good way pa rin, no? Diba? Those who have evil intent, blah blah blah, and so on, would become like that young man. So parang, alam mo yun, he was wishing something good for David. So, ano tawag doon? Ano yung tinatawag yung sinisweeten up niya yung message? Hindi niya sinabi na, Absalom is dead. Parang ganun agad, di ba? Parang, delivered it in a good way. Sugarcoat. Hindi siya sugarcoating. Pero strategy, strategically, indirectly saying that Absalom is dead. Kasi di ba parang pag sinabi niya na how is Absalom? Absalom is dead. Parang, di ba parang,
grabe naman si David. Baka mapatay niya.
Grabe, di ba? So, ang ganda ng pagkakan ni Cushite dito. I wish that the enemies of my Lord, the King, along with all who rise against you with evil intent, would become like that young man. So parang in a way, okay, alam ko na patay na siya. So, yeah.
Sinuport niya yung argument niya na, yun, nasabi niya kasi na who rise up against you with evil intent. Because they would become like that young man. Indirect, pero he supported naman. So, wala talagang nagawa si David.
So, ang principle na nakita ko dito sa pag-deliver, no? Pag-deliver ng news, we have to be concise, clear. Tapos, ewan ko, wag mag-alangan or something. Especially yung kay Ahimaaz, parang yun, di ba? Parang excited siya. Tapos nung pagdating niya, wala rin pala siyang nasabi. Parang ganun yung nangyari din. So, yeah, that's how I saw the delivering of the news part. Yung sa last part naman, ito na yung 33, yung I think bulk of the comments for tonight, yung part na yun. So, ang comment naman dito ni Brother O'Neill, ayan. By the way, thank you. Good point dun sa part na yun. And yes, thank you bro. Sugarcoat pala yung hinanap ng word kanina. Okay, going back to 33, I see David being full of compassion sa reading tonight, wanting to switch places with Absalom. Imagine, no, di ba? Parang siya na lang sana daw yung namatay instead of Absalom. And yeah, different kind of thinking indeed. Nga lang yun yung downfall niya as a father, too merciful but providing no discipline. Totoo. I agree. Nakikita natin yung part na yung compassion. It's like God in a way. Compassion with the children, ano, yung part na yun, yung amazing love, yung sinabi mo nga rin, Brother Johnny, yung sa prodigal son, parang ganun, no? It shows us that part of God through David. Kaso yun din, agree rin ako dito na kulang din kasi ng discipline si David. But God, di ba, He disciplines His children too. Pero ang amazing ng compassion talaga. I agree. Just like what Ate commented as well. Yung concern niya kay Absalom. Solid. Solid yung love. Diba? Kay Joshua naman sabi niya dito, ramdam na ramdam ko yung hinanaing ni David to the point na sinabi niya, if only I had died in your stead. Totoo, it was his weakness. His children to the point na di niya kaya magdisiplina and it can cause his children's downfall. Yes. Yeah. Yun lang. Sad lang yung part na kulang talaga sa pagdisiplina. So, humantong dito, di ba? Parang yung pagka-shaken niya siguro, yung deeply moved, kasalanan niya rin talaga. Naparealize siya dun, no? I think na partly ba? Fully, kasalanan din ni David, di ba? It boils down to his sin. So yun, balik ulit tayo sa kasalanan, no? Dahil sa kasalanan nangyari ito, going back, no? Parang tawag doon, consequences of the actions that he had done. Very sad. Additionally, sabi niya dito, inisip ko kung how sad it was to lose not just something, but someone as much as his own son who even rebelled against him. Ganun yung hinaing niya. David is indeed blessed, but not invulnerable to pain and suffering. Yes po. Yung relationship talaga, dito yung nakikita ko, between father and son. And it reflects the love of God, the ultimate love of God na alam mo yun, the longing for His children, yung pagmamahal. Sabi nga ni Brother O'Neill, iba yung thinking, grabe. Iba yung thinking, different kind of thinking. Na nagrebelde na nga, di ba? He was a traitor. Pero, imagine mo, he still loved his son deeply. Amazing. Solid. From Atikot, sabi niya dito, like the Tudors during King Henry's time, even if you are a family member, if you plan or do anything against the king, you will be beheaded. I thought of that too, Brother Johnny. David's prior instructions towards his son Absalom that he be dealt with gently. So, iba yung kanya eh. Iba yung love ni David. Iba yung love.
Pero for me, bro, the way I would see it, parang yung counterpart naman talaga ni David is si Joab, no?
Mm-hmm.
David being merciful, too merciful, and Joab being the one who delivers justice. Yun yung sabi sa commentary. Na siya yung iron hand ni David. Kasi Joab knows that David has a heart for his family and all, and hindi niya palagang palalagpasin si Absalom kahit anong mangyari. But knowing that na ganun yung order niya, he still delivered kasi tama yung ginawa ni Joab, pero it is not right. It's correct but not right. Kasi siguro he sees talaga yung, isipin mo yun, yung damage that have been done to the kingdom just because of one man's revolt talaga. And sila parang naghihirap yung lower class, yung mga tao na soldier na sumasama lang sa orders na kung anong gusto ng isang leader gagawin nila, and the other one having them in conflict, killing each other, tapos magbabatay na lang yung dalawa in the end. So Joab delivered justice dun sa ginawa ni Absalom. And going back then dun sa sinabi ni God regarding dun sa punishment niya on David doing evil in sight of the Lord, that the sword would not depart on your family, diba? Sabi niya when he committed the adultery in with Bathsheba and killed her husband and all. Nasabi niya yun na the sword would not depart from your family. Doon na nga, nasa mga anak niya napunta yung consequence ng kanyang sins. Yung sins talaga natin yung would be the reason for us to experience those, no? Hindi talaga magandang events of our lives. Knowing that it would displease God, ano? Siguro na sana naisip ni David yung ginawa niya. And might as well ganun din sana tayo na it is the consequence of our sin na ayun minsan talaga we are to suffer. And nadamay pa yung pamilya natin, di ba? Just like what happened nung nag-start na nung meron si Amnon, then he raped his sister, then Absalom paid it back, ano? And now naging ambitious and all si Absalom giving trouble to David in the kingdom. And madami pang nadamay talaga na buhay, you know. They were just living a normal life and then suddenly may division na. People leading the other against the other. Diba? We could see talaga how sin tries to destroy normal lives, yung simpleng buhay lang natin, diba? That's how sin destroys relationship.
Yes.
Ayun.
Yeah, it
Hirap.
does. Again, yung na-mention nga, it really boils down to sin. And regarding what you mentioned about Joab, makikita natin yung response ni Joab sa response ni David bukas. Ito naman yung part na yun. Yes. Ito nga yung sabi ni O'Neill, yung part na too merciful. Maganda yung part na yung loving talaga. It's a reflection of God. Yung nakita ko. Pero nagkulang talaga siya sa discipline and yung part na yun. Pero mukhang gulo-gulo na rin yung utak kasi ni David dito siguro sa mga nangyayari sa diba, for the war and everything. It was his punishment din, so yun lang. Anyway, makita rin natin bukas kung anong masasabi naman ni Joab. Kaya abangan yun. So far, ayun po ang ating discussion for tonight. And yes, before we close, papunta na tayo sa ating responses or closing remarks for tonight's episode. Kaya kung may mapahabol po kayong comment dyan, ilagay niyo lang po mga ka-awesome sa ating comment section. Before I pass it back to Johnny for his responses, it's from Kuya Kaloy. Ayan. Comments from Kuya Kaloy and Arnel. Kuya Kaloy said, in the cry of David, the same way we hear the cry of God for his lost children. His desire to restore, his desire to forgive. Yes, true that. Diba? O talagang solid. Thank you po Kuya Kaloy for this, and from Arnel. It is natural for God to be loving, but because he is holy and there is nothing unclean in him, so he cannot tolerate what is wrong and it falls as a result of sin. Yes. Ito yung napakaganda kay God kasi solid na solid eh. Kompleto. He is loving, but he also is full of justice. Nagdidisiplina rin siya. So, ganun ka-solid ang ating Diyos. And from Casimir, the victory seemed second to David and was first more concerned about his son. The messenger was so glad to bring the good news of victory, but David kept asking about Absalom. Shows how big David's love and guilt from allowing his son to get this far into evil for his son. Yeah, totoo. Somehow it overshadowed the victory. Totoo nga eh. Yun, yung mention din ni Johnny, hindi naman lang naisip yung mga tauhang nakipag-away and so on. Yeah. Very sad yung part na yun. Bothering din talaga. So, nag-gets ko yung part na sinabi ni Johnny kanina. But in a different angle, I also see how parents must feel when they see us struggling. They feel it 10 times more. Let's be kind and loving to our parents as they feel okay? Hanapin ko yung katuloy dun sa Facebook kasi nawala. They feel responsible. They feel the responsibility. Okay, nag-load pa, sorry. Nag-guess na lang. They feel responsible for our future no matter how we turn out. Ito yung mga solid parents talaga, yung pagmamahal na pinapakita nila sa mga anak nila. So, thank you, Casimir, for this comment. Oo. Two sides na nakita natin dito sa part na ito. So, alright, awesome. Thank you for those comments. Kung meron pa, habol nyo lang. Johnny, responses? Further responses for tonight?
Siguro I would take siguro the side of David wherein na magnify yung love, ano. Pero as human as he is, hindi siya buo. Pero ayun, yung love niya towards his son Absalom, talaga na ano rin yung na magnify din yung character ni God, na to the point na he wanted to die in his place, ano. Siguro yun yung ano, hindi na fulfill ni David yun, pero Jesus fulfilled it for him, for us all. Kasi because of his love, he gave up his life instead of ours. Di ba makita natin dun yung Jesus moment na I would have died instead of you. Ganon. If he would be given the chance. And Jesus did it for us all. Instead of us dying. Yun naman yung pinaka-takeaway ko dito.
Wow, solid yun. Kasi Jesus moment nga, bro. O ano? Balikan nga natin yung part na yun, di ba? Parang, oo nga, no? Mas napao nga, no, ako. In a way, di ba? Absalom sinned, did this and did that. But so did, grabe. Tayo din, di ba? Parang tayo parang nagkasala tayo. Tapos Jesus really said it na I'll die in place of you. Wow. Solid bro, solid takeaway. It shows the amazing love of Jesus. Nagre-reflect dun sa part na yun, mga kapatid. So, wow. Let that sink in, mga kapatid. Yung part na yun, no, talagang, wow. Napakantuloy ako. Yung parang other side of the story. Wow. Alright, na-speechless ako. So, yeah,
kasi,
bro.
Di ba na-remind din ako dun sa sinabi kasi ni Joey na si Job suffering from this testing. Nasabi niya, di ba, na would there be an afterlife? Would there be someone to take my place, asking God? And here comes Jesus taking that all. And parang si David din, I would have died in your stead. Parang lahat napo-point kay Jesus. That's how amazing it is. With their different side of story, it shows that they're longing for someone to take their place, someone to do the right thing for them. And Jesus did it all for us.
Yeah. Solid. Napao nga rin si O'Neil. Ako din, bro. Oo nga, no? Sabi ko, grabe. Pag titignan mo, di ba, parang, sabi ko kanina, Absalom wala akong maisip na magandang nagawa si Absalom. Perhaps, yun nga, para sabihin nila, he really deserved to die and so on. Pero yung part na ito, yung response ni David, ang ganyan yung ni Jesus, di ba? Parang siguro isipin natin na what's wrong with Jesus taking the place of sinners, mga nagkakasalang tao. Parang ganun din. Tayo yun, di ba? So parang, alam mo yun, reflect, di ba? Parang, wow, solid. Anyway, solid talaga. Thank you for mentioning that, Brother John. Hindi ko yung nakita yung part na yun. Jesus moment talaga. Amazing, and let's end with that. Let that sink in again. Nakaka-amaze at nakaka-reflect talaga ako. Solid. So with that, I think it's a good stopping point. Thank you so much. Mga kapatid, and we do hope to see you tomorrow. Let's see what will happen now. Sabi ko nga, yung response naman ni Joab sa response ni David. At yan ang pag-uusapan natin bukas. And so we do hope to see you again tomorrow. See you again tomorrow, and we wish you well. We wish you everyone well. And please do stay healthy, not just physically, but spiritually. Stay awesome and stay with Jesus, our Lord, Savior, and King, full of love, who took our place. Grabe, who took our place of death. Wow, solid. Awesome, thanks. Awesome, thanks everyone indeed. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, Johnny. Thank you everyone sa mga nag-comment, nag-react, nag-share, andito, nag-stay, nakinig, at nagre-reflect din sa ating lesson. Maraming salamat. God bless you richly. And fellow Christians, let's light. Let's be the light wherever we are, and let the love of Jesus be seen in us wherever we go as well. God bless you all po, and don't forget to pray. See you tomorrow. God bless.